Comedy Simp, the podcast you can't resist. Stephen Michael James, the host you won't wanna miss. From Seattle to the world, his humor will persist. Join the fun, get ready to enlist.
I feel like I should have a drink too, but that's okay. We're just doing this right now outside. Comedy Simp, Noah Rubin, Stephen
back.
Michael James.
I'm back.
What is the J in Noah J Rubin, anyways?
The J is for Jonathan.
Jonathan?
But here's the thing. Jews don't put the H in Jonathan.
So Jon.
It's Jon.
Hey.
I asked my dad about that. He would always say there's the Jewish way,
So man.
and then there's the Gentile.
Oh, we
I
got special deliveries.
fries.
Live on the podcast, special delivery.
We can put the fries somewhere.
All right, at the Whiskey Mile here.
Thank you. You can
Got
have
some nice
there.
fries.
I got a little less.
They're
seasoning.
hot. Let's try.
Oh, crispy. There we go.
We're hot.
Hot fries.
They remind me of a fair, like a state fair.
Oh yeah, these are.
Very good.
They're good.
You like you have a lot of memories going to fairs? Did you go to fairs a lot when you were younger?
Actually, it's interesting that you asked that. I did go to fairs. My mom, but I lived in Virginia, so the fairs that we went to were like it was like the Wool Festival or the Garlic Festival or I think one was like the Copper Festival, and it was just different festivals that were out in fields,
Yeah.
you know. And I remember the Wool Festival because they were shearing sheep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Cool.
and also there they had I remember it was a sheepdog. I'd never seen a sheepdog, and that's
You said, where did you say, Virginia?
it was in Virginia.
Okay. How long were you in Virginia?
That's where I grew up. I was born in Lynchburg, Virginia, at Virginia Baptist Hospital.
And how long were you there?
And speaking of, my birthday was 2 days ago. So
Happy birthday, Noah.
yeah,
All right,
Quattro.
How long did you live there?
I lived there until I was 18. Graduated high school, and then I went to college in Arizona, to Arizona State.
Oh, okay.
Went there.
It's known as a party school, isn't it? Isn't it known
Yeah,
as,
I mean,
one of the party schools?
yeah, I mean, it's a big. It's always, you know, before I went there, when I was reading about it, one of the reviews said that Arizona State is like going to a country club,
Oh,
and there are palm trees, and even like the athletic center, the pool. You just go out and you lay out by the pool. Like people did that between classes and stuff, so that was kind of neat.
interesting. Yeah.
I occasionally just went to the pool just to play around and swim.
Now, did you notice right away a change in humidity? Because I imagine Virginia is probably a really humid state. You know, I always hear people from the South say, man, as soon as I take a shower, I go outside and I'm covered in sweat. You know?
The South is very sticky.
Yeah.
It's very sticky, and my mom still lives in South Carolina, and the humidity is very, very. I mean, it's hot, and then on top of that, it's humid. And yes, in Arizona, it is a dry heat, but after you get to 100 degrees, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's just fucking hot.
I mean, I'm from Sacramento, so we got the Sacramento Valley, and it's the same thing. I mean, it's a dry heat, but I was so used to these 110 degree. Hey, what's up, man? You want to sit down? Sure.
Hey,
Sit on down. Sit on
welcome
down.
over.
There he
In
is.
the flesh.
Back for a second week in a row.
That's right. I'm
Yeah.
Bruce.
Good.
a staple.
Yeah.
So,
I'm wiry and metal and easily.
There you go, Bruce Detore.
how you doing, man?
So I'm looking forward to seeing Noah featuring here tonight at the Whiskey Mile.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I'll have to speak a little loud just to the round.
Yeah. These mics are not actually mics.
these mics are not actually.
So you have to.
This is
shout.
like a music
Why-
video. This is like a music video.
We're shouting.
That's right. I'm going to be very loud here.
But I
at the
feel
Whiskey
like
Mile.
it would be so weird if we're just like, so, guys, yeah. So like, you gotta have the prop. Plus, AI. There's been two times on this podcast where I had audio issues, and I had to just use the phone audio anyways. One of my favorite episodes was with Jason McBride, Chloe Lynch, and Joey Cruz. And
Chloe and Joe.
I like having groups. You know, Marcus Cruz, who was on my show, was like, I just want to do one-on-one with you, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, and it's fun to do that sometimes. But you know, I don't always want to be the one talking. You know, you guys have interesting things going on. We're talking about fairs.
Like the Puyallup Fair, or like
Just
a bunch of costs getting on a bus.
No, country fairs, county
Renaissance fairs. I actually, when I was in my upper 20s, one of my friends, they would do this thing called Kilt Fest every year, but they get all their group of guys together. They did it for like 10 years, and you go to the Renaissance fair and you wear a tartan. You just get sloshed, and you pass out. But we drove. Usually they would rent like a nice, like fancy, like limousine kind of bus. But this year they were cheap, and they just packed all of us in the back of like a U-Haul van.
Nice. Yeah, I've definitely ridden in the back of one of those like, many times. So I didn't know this, but Noah grew up in Virginia. So, and like last time we talked to you, we pretty much only talked about Kill Tony. Are you from Washington? Did you grow
Born
up?
and raised in Seattle. Still in the same community I've always lived in.
Seattle?
Yeah,
You're
West Seattle.
Oh, yeah,
For some
okay.
reason I thought you were way down
A
south.
lot of people think I'm from Tacoma, which I'm not sure exactly what that says about me or my form address, but
I think people think that about me too because I spend so much time down there. So
yeah, I think it's because I've kind of, in my comedy business, I ended up spending more time in Tacoma and a lot of the open mics down there. I found that the open mics in Seattle were not very hospitable.
Yeah.
And so I had more difficult times in a lot of those. So I tended to go further south or like kind of work the outskirts. And then I've tried, now that I've kind of been doing it for a while, I've started to go back to some of the places in Seattle to try and, be seen in Seattle a bit more often and adjust what I do.
Trying to reframe hospitable because I know that is accurate, but I'm trying to like find some funny like French way to describe it. Not
It doesn't have
It's that juju.
that
It's a juju.
that is so.
It has that. It's not that it's non-hospitable. It's so.
Yeah.
I think you could probably, like, how many people are going to be watching this that know like fluent French? You'd be like, it's kind of got this flip de pois, it's a bit of foie gras,
Yeah, but it's a bit of foie gras. It's dead duck. It's dead duck.
Man,
It's buttery.
I feel like now I gotta go. After this, I'm gonna go watch Napoleon when I go home.
Napoleon.
Just watch Joaquin Phoenix just do doggy style halfway through the movie. That's what I heard. That's what I heard is in the movie is that they do a lot of gratuitous Napoleon nudity.
So what you're saying is I made the correct choice in not seeing this movie.
Yeah, 3.5 hours. 1 hour is just the side of Joaquin's ass.
It's Napoleon Dino.
But yeah,
It's like an extra hour to make up for his lack of height.
Yeah. So we started talking about fairs because these fries here.
You want to fry?
I might get something here tonight later.
I miss.
You want to try a fry just to get it on like
Try.
It's just for the feeling that we are sharing.
See if it's for me.
It's more about bringing us together.
Hey, how's it going? We're good. Another comedian. Another comedian has arrived.
I need to sign up.
Probably need to sign up. Yeah.
Let me go in and do the quick sign up.
Bruce, I'm going to sign up.
First on the list.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Noah.
I'm Kelsey.
I'm not really friends. I'm just doing it for this. Hi, Kelsey.
She's brand new open mic. Fourth time on
All right.
stage.
Right,
Yes.
don't ruin that spirit.
Need more women in comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a lot. Like I went to the fair a lot when I was a kid. So this town I grew up in it's called Woodland, Woodland. Woodland. So many people are
Not the neighborhood.
they get it confused with Woodland Hills, which is in Southern California. But Woodland,
Sacramento. That's
yeah,
right.
Woodland is by Sacramento, and so they used to have this thing called they still do. It's called the Yolo County Fair. So I'd go every summer. They'd have the local, the 4-H, the animals, the old ladies with the quilts and the collections, and then of course the rides. And this was before cell phones and stuff, man. I remember some very awkward times. I don't know. Do you remember going to like amusement parks or fairs where you had an odd number of people? So two people got to ride together, and then you had to ride with a stranger
Or
you know?
by yourself.
Yeah. And I just remember like riding with these like random girls and stuff that were older than me, and I was like, just had no game, nothing like that, just super nervous. And then
Did you say anything to them?
I was just like, oh yeah, it's cool. I don't know. I don't even remember, man. I was just, we're talking about like 13, 14, like that.
Just that nervous 13 sandlot, like teenage, almost like not knowing that you're horny, but that horny.
Yeah. You know,
maybe something will happen.
it took me a really long time to kind of come out of my shell, and even like comedy helped me out a lot, I think. But you know, I've always been like a manager, so I've had to manage people. So I've hired guys that are like, you know, drug addicts, or had to deal with like guys who had baby mom issues. And so you learn to kind of be a parent a little bit around adults, and then you just get a little more confident in yourself and working and all that. And so, you know, I find it easy to talk to people, but then again, man, I am not single, so I don't know what I would do to try and approach a woman in 2025. You know?
Well, let me tell you, it is so like I wasn't good at it in my 20s.
Yeah.
Like I would just wait until somebody liked me.
Yeah.
And then I was all in. And that was it. And I consistently did that, which is not the way to go.
Yeah.
It is not the way to go. It is 100% not the way to go. So now, after divorce and learning how to like connect with people and do it the right way, it brings up all these like you go through all these things that you went through when you were a teenager again as a 40-year-old guy who's like, I need to do this the right way, you know, and not just be impulsive and do these things and you're focusing on like communication and being honest and all this, and yet you still just, you know, I mean, we're all animals and you just want the same thing at the end of the day, but you want it to be respectful.
Yeah.
And you're like, how do I do that? And how do I don't know? These are like longer, bigger things that I think about. Is like how do you know how what if you get to know somebody and you're like, this is our relationship? How do you know it's gonna work out? The thing is, you don't.
No.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
You're just gambling on a hope.
Yeah. And I will tell you too, like, it's not, in my opinion, it's not easy. Like not everybody, but I just feel like it's pretty common that people think like, well, if it's very easy, then you know it's meant to be. And it's like, no, I mean, I feel like a good relationship, it does take like an actual work. It takes like some humility. You know, you got to be able to like, you know, men, especially men, it seems like have a lot of pride when it comes to certain things and not willing to like, you know, just let down their guard a little bit to, you know, have a good relationship. Yeah, man, I've been reading a lot of Reddit. You know, I don't know why. Maybe it's making me mentally ill.
That is the new literature.
But people post all these like, and I feel very conflicted about just the nature of it in general. But people post these text messages that they have between somebody else, and there's like subreddits called like, am I overreacting? Am I an asshole? And like, I just am addicted to reading these things, and then it just like, I can't believe this person is saying this, and I can't believe this person is letting this person get to it. And I'm just like, and then at the end of the day, I'm like, wow, yeah, it's like scary out there. You know?
I mean, it can give you a little perspective and recognize and help you recognize like you are like feeling difficult about your life. You're like, well, it could be worse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that goes through my head a lot. It's like when I'm like dealing with all my problems and all that. You realize, and as soon as you start sharing your stuff to somebody else, and then they share it back to you, you kind of feel like a little guilty. You're like, well, my problems, I guess, are not as bad as living in a van alone.
Yeah.
While trying to make this relationship work.
Yeah, I've stayed the night in a car before. That's fun. You know, you got kids. You know, there's not a lot of people doing comedy that relationships, have kids. How do you find time to write material, come up with stuff, even get? How do you find time to even get out and do comedy? Because I find it very hard. I'm always looking for advice.
The answer is I don't find time for it.
Yeah.
I think about this a lot because I try not to get jaded because I see other people who started after me doing different things and getting further. And I try to analyze it.
Preaching to the choir, man.
Like,
I'm feeling the exact same thing.
And I know it's a long game with everything, and a long game is just the way to kind of maintain it. And I don't know what's going to happen in 20 years when my kids are all grown up and all that stuff. And you have these delusional and maybe realistic dreams that you think are possible because stuff can happen. And like the thing that I do is I call my mom a lot now. Like we had a salty relationship for a while, and then but she was always the reason that I got to be performing and all like theater and all that. She's the reason. She used to just tell people before I ever did stand-up comedy in my 20s that I was a comedian. She would always tell me that. And she would actually try to help me flirt with women on the beach because she lives in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And she thinks, by the way, young ladies, my son's a comedian. Like, as if that's like matters to them, and they're like, "Oh, you're a comedian." And I would say to them, "Only when I'm being funny." And I didn't know what to say next. I was like, maybe that'll score me some points. But no, I call her. I call her and I ask her to. She tells me what she thinks is funny. I don't necessarily think it's funny, but I think that the fact that I'm calling her and she thinks something's funny is worth talking about. So tonight I may refer to what she has told me that is funny and talk about it. And I like to talk like her. She told me, if you're going to talk about me and talk in my voice, at least make some money doing it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a good Jewish lady.
Well, your style of comedy, I don't hear a lot of people doing that style.
What is my style?
And speaking of that, let's talk about that anyways, because, we kind of alluded to it a little bit on last time we talked, but yeah, man, I feel like I'm getting pretty frustrated too. And it's not just what I'm trying to do is I don't want to feel bitter and compare myself to other people that have been doing comedy less than me. There are people that have been doing comedy less than me that are legitimately hilarious people that deserve
there are definitely there's people that are just good and impulsively can follow their psychodynamic therapy we call their id. They can do that on stage, and God bless them.
Now, one of the hardest struggles about stand-up in general is it's best when there's an audience. And we open micers do so many open mics where there might be mostly comedians, a few patrons. And if the comedians have heard your material a million times, they're not really going to laugh. Yeah. So, it's such a fun, it's one of those things that's like catch-22. You need an audience to be funny, but they won't let you in front of the audience unless they know you're funny. So
and you don't know that you're funny until you get up. Yeah, no, it is. It's totally a catch-22.
And a perfect example is last week I was here and every joke just bombed. It was just horrible. It was one of my worst sets I ever had here. So we'll see what happens tonight. But the night before, I was in Tacoma and I did all the same jokes and almost every single one got a laugh. So I was like, just in my head, what the hell is going on? I don't know what I'm, and then it's like, is it the audience? Is it me? Is it,
am I good at this? Should I quit? I don't know. Everybody says just keep doing it. That's part of it. And I mean, I don't know. You have to maintain your own sense of perspective about why you're doing this. Yeah. And not getting so caught up with like the competition of it all, and,
Yeah.
and this and that, and who likes who, and who looks good, and I mean, it's a whole mind fuck.
Yeah.
And the hard part is that this is the one particular hobby or interest where you are somebody who's meant to go up and tell jokes, but even these jokes come from a place of like something personal
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
And the audience doesn't know it, but sometimes it connects with folks, and so we are in a very vulnerable place,
Mhm.
more than in theater or music, because every time it's mostly if musicians and performance it can be different each night, but it's different, and because of that, um, um, uh, we're just prone to like beating ourselves up.
Yeah.
We're prone to that.
Oh yeah. I've always. Yeah.
And it's not. I mean, and so we have to kind of maintain some perspective. Like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I
Yeah.
doing? I mean, this thing is like we're doing this to like to be funny, and maybe that's part of it. And there's competitions which like stab you in the heart.
Yeah.
But you're doing this because you enjoy getting up and attempting to make people laugh. But you're doing it for yourself and your own personal growth. And if you can think of it like that, personal development and all that. I don't know. This is a therapist to me.
Hey man, I that's totally. I've been to therapy.
Yeah.
You know, dude, I've had so many like shitty experiences though because like, yeah, I went when I was a kid for a little bit. You know, there was some abuse in the family, so of course it was just kind of like you gotta go and all that. And then I just kind of pushed all that stuff out for a long time.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, had some rough times and stuff like that. But it wasn't until um, my daughter was born, I was really struggling. Just like the idea of being a dad and all that. I mean, like I didn't have the greatest upbringing and all that, and so it's a lot of struggle and seeing different therapists.
Yeah.
And then like when I was up here, and I had this lady that I saw, and then like she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna retire." It's like, "Oh, fuck, okay." And then
Yeah.
then so she retired, and then me and my wife started going to couples therapy because
Good for y'all.
we needed it.
Good for
And then
y'all.
like a few months into that, that lady was like, "Okay, I'm pregnant. I'm gonna go have my baby now."
Yeah.
So she left, and then I had this other therapist I was seeing for a while, and then he told me he's like, "I'm gonna go to Zoom therapy only," and I was like, "All right, well, I feel more comfortable like when I'm physically in a room and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and I know it's tougher these days for providers and stuff to do that because it's so expensive."
Yeah, no, it's so. I mean, I do telehealth,
Yeah.
and it's just whatever. It's more cost efficient for me. I mean,
Yeah.
luckily, like I'm finding people that works out for.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, maybe I'll try it sometime.
well, I hear you. I because I have another job where I meet with folks in person, and it is just it's such a notable difference.
Yeah.
Like just because you see their mannerisms, and there's just the emotions are so much more palatable, and I don't know. That's the therapist. Like, but I'm always. I mean, I do that because I mean, I tell people that I genuinely like. I care about people. I care about people.
Yeah.
I want. You're a therapist, and you're like, things are hard these days for folks.
Yeah.
And it's very clear. And I'm always like, gosh, I just want to take your pain and put it to the side. But I'm not the person to do that.
Well,
You
no,
gotta do
yeah.
that.
I mean, and like the goal, I guess, for me in comedy is like just to make people happy.
Yeah.
People laugh and have a good time. And another comic once said to me or sent me a question. Allison Fine. I don't know, so random. I think maybe she was replying to some story or something, and she said, "What are your goals in comedy?" And I was like, "Wow, nobody's ever asked me that." And then I guess the answer that I came up with was just like, I just want to perform for people and kind of build a following of people that want to enjoy my comedy.
Yeah.
And then her response was, "I want to make a living from it." I'm like, "Well, I want to make a living from it too, but
Yeah.
if anything, if I can just get in front of the people, that's more like the money is nothing. I mean, I lose money doing comedy, but
Yeah.
just the idea of like, we've been to Shanghai and that room is full and it's exciting.
Good.
It's
When it's
and you
not,
can't
it's
you can't really buy it.
Yeah.
You can't really buy that excitement,
Yeah.
So
Fellas, I just got recognized. So
sign some autographs.
yeah.
no,
They're like, oh, you know,
some dude in a cowboy hat was like, "I got a bone to pick with you." I'm like, "I don't know what bone you want."
People always want to pick
This
bones.
isn't Capitol Hill.
Why do people want to pick bones? It's such a
This girl, I'd pick a bone here and there. Like I want that. But I'm a guy, so like I'm not picking bones. I'm picking cavities, I guess.
okay.
Well, I was thinking about all these sayings. There's these sayings that come from when we're younger, where I don't know where they all come from, but the one that really disturbs me the most is "screw the pooch." Screw the pooch. What is the story behind that? Is that kind of a Mr. Hands eat 'em type situation?
Let's look. I mean,
Screwed by the Philly.
Yeah,
screwed what?
Screwed by the Philly. Or is Philly a female?
it could.
Screwed by the mayor.
Yeah, or I don't know.
I don't know, but I tend to look up these things on Google. Like I'll be like, what is the etymology of this saying or this phrase? What is this word? All right. I got a little distracted.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's right. Welcome to Kirkland at the Whiskey Mile, where you can't see, but I can hear somebody.
And I'm
making their
when I
way
work
out
stuff,
of a
There's an
bar.
older gentleman beyond the camera that is making me happy. I parked further away.
This is color
Oh,
commentary.
did you see
This is like
Burning
baseball
inside?
color
Shot
commentary.
Benation.
He's,
I didn't recognize him at first because I was like,
He was giving me bad legal advice.
Tacoma guys don't come up here. What the whoa? So
Bad legal advice.
So-
You know what they say? It's still legal advice.
That's true.
So we're just talking a little bit about comedy, frustration, all that kind of stuff.
Frustration.
How long have you been doing stand-up comedy? Did we already ask
It'll
this?
be 2.5 years next month.
2.5 years. Nice.
This guy though, he's everywhere. He's doing shows here and there, but let's talk about where would you like to be, Bruce, in the next 6 months?
6 months. Wow.
In the next
You
six,
too. You'll be next.
in the next 6 months, I would like to be doing a couple features a month, if not more, and moving towards headlining. To be honest with you, I can certainly do 45 minutes to an hour easy. Whether or not it's entertaining to people is another question. I told Lynette Manning, if you haven't heard of Lynette Manning, look her up. She's incredible. She recently headlined for the first time at Tacoma Comedy Club on Sunday, and I gave her a little card, and I said that you are one of the measuring sticks by which I judge my comedy.
That's very nice of you. It's a nice thing to say to somebody.
I don't think I have the rocket on my ass that she does, but I think that's what where I'd like to be in 6 months, somewhere to where she was maybe a few months ago. I don't feel, I'm like a young, jaded Rodney Dangerfield. Like he's like, I tell you, no respect. And I'm more like, I want some fucking respect from this community. The TCC list just came out today, and once again, no respect, man. Just
Oh, you weren't on it? I
No,
didn't sign
no,
up.
I got one slot at each one. One I'm running the light, and the other one's just a random slot that I actually have to get changed because I have a more important paid booking that night. But I'm seeing, and no offense to anybody watching this, but I see a lot of people who are getting closing spots and MC spots. Some people who have not been doing it very long, people who are certainly not graduated to that level yet, in my opinion. And I just feel like either I'm not being recognized for where the level I'm at, or I'm deluding myself. And it's
Man, I will just tell you this. I feel like you beat up on yourself a little bit too much.
well,
Yeah, I think you're a little bit too self-deprecating because, man, you're a hard worker. You're out there. You are making people laugh. You're going way out to far places.
and that's what kind of throws me because I feel like I see some of the people who are emceeing and who are getting the gigs and getting all that love from Tacoma Comedy Club and Bark Entertainment, and I don't want to say they're worse than me, but I don't think they're any better than me, and so I don't know exactly what it takes. I've been trying to go catch the bucket of awful lot more at TCC whenever I can. I would have gone tonight, except I promised you I'd come out and do this. And I'm just trying to get recognized out there. I'm also trying to do it at Club Comedy, but I think Rick,
Well,
I must have pissed in his Cheerios one morning or
Well,
something. That,
here.
let's go to the therapist now.
I know. That's I can't help
this
it.
seems like well planned out, to be honest with you.
I don't
This is your therapy session,
Very
Bruce.
well, you know. But I will say I listen to I hear you talk, you know, and I think everybody, not just you, but I'm saying this to you. We're talking to like you are your own worst enemy.
Mhm.
All right, and and part of it's beating yourself up,
Hey.
but part of it is also like like it is very easy to get ourselves stuck into kind of seeing other people. All right,
Sure.
and I think that part of this is when you get to that place of like real deep reflection. Not only will that be helpful for you, but it will also be helpful for your comedy and understanding like like your voice and what more you want to say. Because I feel like you get in these ruts of frustration and those ruts of frustration mean that it's an opportunity to evolve and develop and kind of see the world a little bit differently.
I really do try to push through whenever I have, because I think a lot of comedians have those ups and downs where like, oh my God, I got so much material, so much stuff I want to work on.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I'm really getting a lot of good laughs. And then there's those other ruts where it's like, I have nothing. I can't remember any
That's
of my
me
stuff.
right now.
And it's like, what am I doing? But you know that
Yeah.
that's going to come back around. There's going to be something in the news, or you're going to be at the department store and somebody's going to say something weird next to you. And you're just going to be like, okay, that's kind of a weird thing. I want to work on that. And you have plenty of stuff. And then you're overwhelmed because I got like 17 different things I want to talk about. And I got 3 to 5 minutes, which is only going to give me 2 or 3 things to talk about. So it's ebb and flow. I think that definitely one of my biggest problems is I've always been very self-deprecating. I try to use that because also as a middle-aged straight white man in a liberal city, if I make fun of anybody else besides myself, everybody gets mad.
And it's okay
You know.
to make fun of other people as long as you have awareness to acknowledge
Yeah.
that like you understand what they're seeing too.
And part of it
And
is
then it like it all gets them off guard a little bit. They're like, oh, you are actually aware of what we're doing too.
well, and part of it is doing it in such a way that it's allowable. If you're going to be doing something that would be considered punching down, I really don't like the term punching
I
down.
don't like
Uh,
because I
say it
believe-
all the time. And even
So when you say stuff like that, if you're the kind of person who talks about punching down, chances are you're using that as a victim mentality, and you're the one that you're taking yourself down to a lower level. Like I look at you, no matter where you're coming from, what you do, as on that level. I don't think anybody's below me. And in that same vein, anybody, I can't remember, was it Chris Rock that said, "Hey, nobody above an ass whooping." You know, so I mean, everybody does stupid shit. Everybody says stupid things, regardless of what boxes you check off. So, you know, and the other part of it is comedy. It doesn't necessarily mean the person on stage is not necessarily the person off stage.
Yeah.
But there may be some funny observations. Like living in Seattle, there's a lot of people who are polyamorous, and I have a bit where I make fun of that. It's like, you know, you can tell when somebody's polyamorous in Seattle because they never shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
You know, and some people who are poly get upset about that, but they're the ones who are on stage talking about it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, you're kind of doing what I said. And then if the follow up to that is like people wonder why I'm always so upset. It's very simple because I'm jealous. Like I can't
Yeah.
I can't figure out monoamory, let alone poly. You guys are amazing.
And
But there's never time to get to that.
that's part of my therapy, man. I talked to my wife last night. I said, you know, this guy now, he just got past in laughs, and I am jealous because I think he's funny. I've been working hard. I didn't get an opportunity. And so I'll tell you one thing that I did.
You check some boxes and laughs, you got a better opportunity.
I,
throw it out there right now. I don't care what people want to say.
on Monday night, I watched 6 of the Bark Entertainment 10-minute sets that they posted on YouTube. So
Oh, okay.
they do this thing called Make Me Famous at Tacoma Comedy Club.
Yeah.
Like once a month, they'll film a bunch of sets. And it's usually these kind of bigger name people that are getting booked all the time. They invite them. And I'm not going to say all the people that I watched, but I will say, like, I sent a message to Taylor Clark, and I was like, yeah, man, I mean, my wife watched your set, Bark set the other night. And he's like, oh, that's cool. I hate that set. And, you know, and I was just said, like, oh, compared to me, you're like Louis C.K. But it wasn't a great set. And none of the sets that they posted on Bark were great. In fact, one of them, I'll tell you guys off the air, was a guy who gets booked as a host for big names that come through town. And it was one of the worst comedy sets I've ever seen. And it was professionally filmed. So,
Well, I think there's I think
Yeah, no.
So I don't feel that bad. Don't feel that bad that it's not necessarily, it's not your material. It's kind of like these people got, these people know people.
well, and
You know, they get invited.
there is a big matter of networking. You got to network. I'm terrible at networking. Like I've tried to go from the aspect of like grind it out until people recognize you, and it's like sometimes they don't pay attention unless you really get in there.
Oh, hey.
Hey, what's up, Jeff?
Yeah. Hey,
Still standing.
and yeah, networking is part of it. I-
It's easy when you run an open mic because everybody comes to you.
Sure.
That's like me and
And
him.
I know people who are starting to produce. They're like, yeah, all of a sudden I'm getting all these emails and everybody's my friend and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to.
They're not your friend, but I mean, they might be. But it is a little like overwhelming at first.
Hey,
But I think it's good to sometimes pivot into other things. You know, like keep comedy, but like
Yeah.
You know, I like going on the film forum and just looking sometimes like, do they need an extra for a character? Like, there's so many people doing and
Yeah.
just kind of and making connections that way as well.
Well, I do have an agent. I do occasionally find myself in either with some sort of commercial, some
Yeah.
sort of film, something like that. I don't do a lot of it anymore, just because most of what I get is for extra work that is going to cost me money,
Yeah.
time. Like it takes like they take 20%. So if I get a booking or if I get an audition that's going to pay $100, and I have to film it and I've got to edit it, that's already a couple hours of work just to get to the at home audition.
yeah.
And then if I get it, I have to drive somewhere. Sometimes it can be very local. Sometimes it can be far. I have to pay for parking. I have to do all that stuff.
No, you have to. It
And-
has to be like an investment in.
And
like,
that's yeah. So it's like I could be spending, and then you could be there for up to 10 hours a day for $100, and it's like I'm going to be making like $2 an hour once you.
you don't even know what the outcome of the film is
Yeah.
going to be.
It's not even worth it. I've had some things that my agent has given me which was so beyond insulting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want
Let's
to.
see. We could be a better agent. Let's pitch some ideas for Bruce, huh? How about
But I think
Dollar Shave Club, you know? What do you think? Dollar Shave Club.
it costs more than $1 to shave.
I don't know. Like, I mean, you like.
Noah, you could be betterhelp.com, you know.
Yeah.
I will say, as far as my like, she tries to just throw out as much as she can. She's just giving opportunities to see if you accept them. Like sometimes I'm getting commercials for like several $1,000s. I don't get the commercials, but you know, there are opportunities, and those are worth moving the couch for.
But I'm just saying, like, the more it's just good because it builds that connection and those resumes. It's, like, I mean,
There is that, but there,
it's just if that's what you want to be, no, you gotta.
Well,
I mean, you know.
I will say the negative side of it, having been doing it as long as I have. Like there's a young filmmaker in the general Seattle area, nice guy. He's got his visions, and that's great. I've done 5 separate things for him for free.
Yeah.
Over the course of a few years, and it's like at this point, it's like it's not going anywhere. I wasn't asked to do the next project, which is fine,
I get
but at
it.
the same time, it's like there's a certain amount of you do things for free or you do things for low cost or not a lot of money in the hopes that it'll get you somewhere, and eventually it doesn't get you anywhere. And it's like
Yeah, I mean,
then
it's
you're just free talent for somebody else's
I
passion.
mean, that is the reality
Got
of
it?
this world.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
It's the gamble.
like.
well, it sounds like some shows I've been on too, you know. And I there's certain shows that I would do for free, and then like, you know,
Anybody
and then I'm like, okay, I did it once, it's
would
cool.
you like a lozenge?
We're
good.
Like, you have an extra?
I do.
I don't need that one.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
It's the kind with the.
Ricola.
This podcast is sponsored by Ricola.
No, that's not
Ricola.
sponsored by them. They didn't give me no money.
Hi.
Oh,
You're a comedian? Well,
we're doing a show.
No, this
Depends
is.
on how entertaining. you are.
We're about to shoot a porno. But
show you tonight?
Yeah.
yeah. Are you here to
This
perform
is
in
your
it?
place?
No.
You here to watch it?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's important.
9:15. 9:15. We're getting started.
Understood.
Yeah.
Nice. There.
Right on.
Why are we outside tonight? Sit on this.
It's less loud.
Yeah, because
We got to be the loud ones.
they play music in there. They play like, you know.
Okay.
We're doing a podcast
Country.
right now. That's what we were doing. television show
Live on the internet.
live.
and
Is it live?
No,
This podcast is seen by
It's
tons of.
it's
It's
live
on-
right now.
It's
live.
It's going to be on YouTube.
Yes. In Rumble.
Are you on Rumble?
Yeah, I got
Check it out.
Rumble doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't
so-
get,
And
I don't get, like,
and
anything
not
on
only
Rumble.
fans, but lonely fans.
I like it. I like it.
Go to Rumble, everybody. Alternative media to YouTube.
Yeah.
It's on the dark
me
web.
grow.
www.darkweb_. We just
No,
got
Go to Rumble. Go to Blue Sky. Go to all the alternative.
Never.
Yeah. Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
Blue Chew.
Yeah. Blue Chew.
I don't know.
Take a Blue Chew. Go on Blue Sky.
Is Blue Chew for erections?
I
Yes.
think it's for erection. You know what's weird? It was one of my nephew's birthdays last week, and we all went to the bowling alley. And they got the screens now. Not like when I was a kid, you had to write it.
Yeah.
But they got the screens, and then they'll put advertisements, and every now and then it's just a row of Blue Chew advertisements.
Yeah.
It's like, what is wrong with people who go bowling? Like, what is-
Yeah. They're like, man, all this ball grabbing is really getting me excited.
But like it used to be like Viagra's for like men in their 60s and
Yeah.
70s.
Oh, dude.
And now the advertisements are like, are you in your 30s?
I think it's because testosterone levels in men have been dropping
Yeah.
in the last couple decades.
Well, and I saw a video on X, not Twitter, X, and it was this young African American man, and he had taken what was called a honey pack, and he had taken
honey pack for the honey pot.
a Viagra, and he had taken a Percocet, and apparently he just wanted to give it to this woman all night, and I mean by all night, like hours and hours at a time.
Services for the young lady.
And the whole video was her being like, "No, I don't want none of that." Yeah,
What happened to meditation and tantric and
I know.
listening to Sting?
All I need is
He's like, I
What?
want it numb
What
and hard.
happened?
Numb and hard.
all I need is somebody to be there in the morning, and I'm
Yeah.
ready to go.
I-
It's just
yeah.
good times.
But
Yeah.
I'm waiting till I get older to start experimenting with those. Did you ever see that movie This Is 40?
I'm waiting to get a girlfriend before this brings.
Yeah.
No, I saw the 40-year-old virgin.
Well, there's a scene in This Is 40 where he's giving it to his wife in the shower. And she's like, "Oh, that was great. What got into you?" And he's like, "Oh, I took a Viagra." And she got so offended that she didn't turn him on, that it was the Viagra that did it. So
Now, so much for being vulnerable,
Yeah.
ladies. Yeah. Be vulnerable with me. Oh, honey, I'm so
is that Jay Money?
my feelings.
Robbie. Just pretend to be Jay Money. That's even just Robbie Money, everybody. Rob Cash.
Robbie Schroeder.
Robbie-
doing backyard fights.
Yeah.
Fighting.
Oh man, he did. Yeah, Robbie, dude. No, that would be a great we should do a parody of Street Yard Beefs
I'll just do a parody of
of a podcast.
I love how I keep talking into the microphone like it's plugged in.
How's it going?
nobody can hear you, Robbie.
Yeah,
Half the
You have to speak loudly.
yeah.
I'll just sign.
Yeah, no, sign language. Do sign language.
Yeah.
Sign what I am saying.
Yes.
Like, be my, be
I
my.
would not trust that translation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about Viagra.
Oh, Viagra. Yeah. You know,
Never-
I've never tried it.
What's the deal with the Viagra?
Who are all these people?
Yeah.
Why do they call it erections? Why? Why? Why does it gotta stand up?
Why do they call it erections when you're usually
Yeah.
lying down?
You know, do you do a lot of impressions?
Do I?
This guy does great impressions. That's
You
why.
want to know something? I don't know why I thought of this. Like years ago, I lived in Chicago, and there was that show, like The Fifth Wheel or something.
Never heard of it.
It was like a dating.
Sounds like a
Or
trailer.
it was like
Fifth Wheel.
it was one of those dating shows where it was like they have like there's like a couple people on a date, and then there's like the extra person on the date. It's like
they
they're
get a
like
chance to steal it
yeah,
or
you
something.
could steal the person or whatever.
Fantastic.
And like
Yeah.
they had like an audition for it, and
Oh, not too
I
bad.
figured I would audition for it,
Yeah.
or whatever. And
The Fifth Wheel.
and
I do not want to be on a dating show.
well, I auditioned for it. This is before. This was in the early 2000s.
Before social media,
Before social media was.
cell phones were barely
I mean,
a thing.
Facebook kind of was there, but not.
In the olden
Yeah,
days.
Yeah, and I still had my Gmail account was not at 100,000 emails. But anyhow, I I auditioned and they asked me like some questions about like what would happen if I got pissed off, and I was like, I don't know, I might like break a table. I just said something like that, and then then they said to me, "Can you do like anything funny? Can you do any impressions?" And I was like, "Sure, I can do an impression." They said, "Of who?" And I said, "Bill Cosby."
Oh,
This is great, Bill Cosby stuff. And I was like, you that's all I said.
you see.
Anyways, they did call me back to be on the show, but I couldn't take off work, so I was not on the fifth wheel. I could have been on the fifth wheel.
The next Tom Selleck.
Yeah.
I could have had some street cred for I think it was on like the WB, that show or something
I
like
could
that.
not imagine the nightmare of me being on danger. That's one thing I will say. I know you guys don't know more self-deprecation, but at the same time, it's like, dude, when I saw myself walk out on that video, I was like, oh God, no wonder they're laughing. I think it was like, oh, I was pasty and like they need a makeup person backstage on that show.
Just getting too down on
It
yourself.
was rough.
Too down on yourself. Look, you did better than Macy. That's
That's that's not fair to say.
we love
I
Macy.
mean, it's true, but
Guy.
No.
He's followed.
No, he's awesome. He's a good guy. He's fun. He just was probably so high. He
I tried to sit on his lap during back tooth bullies and eat ice cream in his face. He lost the game of gay chicken. That's just what he was not going to win that.
So you do your Trump. You got any other impressions that you've been working on or ones?
Yeah.
That
Well, gosh, I'm trying to learn how to do Jordan
that
Peterson.
sounds pretty good. Oh,
I got it. Just bloody hell, clean your room. That's about all I got.
that's pretty good.
We've now covered a lot of awful people. Bill
Well, that's
Cosby,
good.
Jordan Peterson.
because Seattle,
Don't see us. Hi guys.
Yes.
general Seattle area.
Wow.
So, oh my gosh, you
Hey,
guys-
you got your tooth back.
Everybody brought their
Is
dogs.
it a fake tooth?
It's a fake tooth.
So you can pull it in and out.
I can pull it in and out. Yeah.
It's nice.
Thank you.
Hey,
Just don't leave it under your pillow at night. We get some money, but
Hey, Wolf.
I mean, you should have seen the tooth fairy when I knocked my tooth out. They're like, dude, you're too old for this shit.
it comes in with a cigar.
Yes.
Why are you bothering? Kid, Jesus.
it's
Sarah ain't coming easy.
a dog friendly night. I don't know. I don't have any. I would love to do an impression. I just every time I think of one, I just can't get it. I can't do the walk in. I can't do the.
Walking is more mannerisms than anything else. But so many people do them.
I worked on my Obama. Sasha, you just got to N words in an N.
Uh,
Malia,
One of the things about
Michelle,
Obama
stop,
Jew
go,
is the pacing.
cereal,
I kind of was thinking
pudding.
of trying to do Bill Clinton because you could do Trump.
The thing about Bill Clinton is you basically pull it to the back of your throat, just like Monica did.
Oh no.
I did.
Hillary is a very cold one.
Yeah. Yeah, Clinton. What a guy. What a guy.
What a guy.
He could be on that Epstein list that
Yeah.
they're about to release, huh? It could be.
They're not going to release that.
Yeah, I know.
He's on the one they're not going to release. Listen,
The gas was very cheap when he was president. That's what I will say.
Yes.
I mean, that was the only time that I had $1 and I
yeah,
could
but
fill up a
that was also 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
I know, it was a good time.
how much?
The
of that,
90s were a good time.
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson.
I think the mid 90s America was at its peak.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
The
that-
Naked Gun movies.
The Naked Gun
Again,
movies.
O.J. Simpson was
Still
grunge
didn't feel-
music.
Still didn't feel weird watching the Naked Gun movies. You know,
Yeah.
Leslie Nielsen was good. OJ seemed to be innocent.
I remember the third. You guys remember the third one? Do you remember the third Naked? It's called Naked Gun 33. That's what,
Nicole Simpson. It was not a good one,
Yeah.
but I still.
That was back before she married the 96-year-old billionaire.
And she died too.
Yeah, she died. Wow, drugs are a hell of a thing.
so there's a scene in that movie, and I always
Remember
remember.
the one where like they did the behind the curtain?
No. This was it was like a police anti-theft thing for the car, and this guy goes to carjack this woman, and this claw comes out and just grabs his balls, and then just like disconnects, and then she drives away, and he's like got this metal rod just
The
clamping.
things they stole from RoboCop.
Yeah.
The movies back then, they just did whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hot shots,
Dude,
Yeah, all those movies.
back when Charlie Sheen didn't look like he did drugs yet, although you knew he was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was not acting
Back
out.
when
Downing.
he looked like his dad, and Now Emilio looks like Martin.
That was one of my favorite jokes was from his roast when Patrice O'Neill was like, Tiger. He's like his brother did everything right and his career was over. He's like, you can't keep a Sheen down. You can keep an Estevez down though, because that fucking did everything right. His career's over. He's like, you talking about Tiger blood? Your brother's selling his own blood. Just like
He did try to come back for the Mighty Ducks series, but due to COVID restrictions, he's like, I ain't getting the vaccine. They canceled the show.
He had a brief part in the Mission Impossible 1 movie, and he was good in it, and I was so sad that he died.
Yeah,
I thought he was
one of his best roles. And
Young Guns, Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
That's Billy the Kid.
Oh, Billy the Kid, the Young Guns movie.
Repo
That was
Man.
great. Yeah.
Men at Work. Did you guys see that one?
Man at Work.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The Trash Boys. Yeah.
There are quotes in that movie that I, as a white man, cannot repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie.
I miss, I watched a lot of movies in like cable, like Saturday, like on Fox,
Oh, yeah.
like in the afternoon. So I'd watch like edited versions of these cool
Versions of
movies.
yeah.
And then, we had like Cinemax and HBO also, but like I just watched a lot of older movies, and like movies now are just so hard for me to be into because they're so fast. It's just like cut, fast, cut this and that. And it's just like, I like watching an old movie where it's like, the camera stays on the person for like a minute,
Yeah.
And then we change to the next one.
Speaking of, I'm rolling a movie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's called Marcy's, and it's about
That's right. I think I saw
It's
it.
about it's filmed at the Water Wheel Lounge.
Oh, yeah?
When the mic was still going on, and it's about a bar that is trying to make things survive. The bar
Marcy's.
closes down, which the Water Wheel is closing down. Coincidentally,
Isn't it still open? Though?
it's open. And
It was supposed to close down like a year.
closing down. They just announced it,
Oh,
but they have an open mic scene in the movie, and the reason I got the part is because I saw the director, and I was like, "Don't you want the guy that like is an Easter egg who started the open mic?" So I was, and I'm in the trailer, and it's coming out, and
where can we see it?
it's gonna
YouTube?
It's gonna be on
it's gonna
TV
be at
in about 7
some
years.
Northwest Film Forum festivals coming up. I don't know, but you can watch the
trailer.
trailers on YouTube.
We'll put a link in the
Yeah.
description for
And-
the trailer.
Yeah, I'm in it, and I have no conclusive evidence, but I am really trying. I would love to do one more comedy show at the Water Wheel. I've written the owner, and basically, we're gonna try to see if we can make one more comedy show happen.
What exactly happened? Was it just they got tired? They
I don't like getting into it because it was. I think the long story short is that the open mic comedians were not meshing well with the Water Wheel patrons, and the owner said, you know what, this isn't working anymore. We gave it our best shot, but they were very friendly about it and all that stuff. They were like, they appreciate it because they know how much I invested so much time into that.
I had PTSD from some of those nights, man.
Like
That room did not like me.
it
was rough.
but it would start off well, and then like about after the feature intent, then it would just devolve into like chaos there. And I was surprised. I mean, I had to eventually just say we have to stop it by because it would sometimes go till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
You had
It's insane.
It was the 907 of the North.
Well, I was still really new at that time, so I had no credit at all. And like I would sign up like 5th or 6th and end up going on like 3 hours later.
There was a night that I really regret not getting a picture of you because it was you, Andy Harder, and what's his name from Portland, Ryan
I
Danley.
remember that night.
Three
Yeah,
bald guys
in a
that
row.
all kind of have similar shapes, and
Well,
went back to back to back. And I was like, I should have gotten a picture of the three of you.
It's funny. I actually went to an open mic after that in Burien at the time at the Triangle, and Joe Gomez was like, "Hey Bruce, how you feel being around all these people, black people and Mexicans and stuff?" It's like, dude, I just came from the Water Wheel where I was the third bald white guy in a row. Even I was nervous. It was like, and I kind of talked about that whole thing, and like it actually gave me some credit with the crowd at the Triangle. I was like, dude, have you ever seen like somebody who like talks so much about how they hate racism that you're like, pretty sure you're covering for something. You know, like that was a dude from Portland. Like he was like, I fucking hate people and Nazis and all the fucking reasons. And I was talking to this guy online. I was like, dude, you're kind of suspicious the way you're
No,
talking.
he's great. He's Brian.
I'm sure he is.
He's like a writer for
Ryan
like
Danny, he writes for the
metal.
Hard Times.
Yeah,
he has
that's
a cool
right.
ass podcast
Okay.
called the
he's like a metal
the
guy.
goddamn another goddamn horror podcast.
I do feel like he's a member of Antifa. Though.
Yeah.
When he was talking,
Probably.
That guy's got a mask at home and he wears a hoodie. You know what I mean? It's just like he goes out on the streets of Portland, gets some donuts, and you know, goes and accosts people.
I just remember one time at Water Wheel, Andy Harder was there, and he was so frustrated. He's like, I got bumped by Keon Laird.
I remember that night too.
I opened up for Tony Hinchcliffe, and you bumped me for Keon Laird.
I remember I was there that night.
That was awesome, man.
I get mistaken for Andy Harder, which is very frustrating at the 907. Because I have people will come out to me like outside when I'm like just trying to get a breath air and be like, dude, what the fuck is the problem you have with people in wheelchairs? I'm like, that's Andy Harder.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. It's like I had one woman come up to me the week before that incident, and she's like, "So what's your fucking problem?" And she said, "Yeah, are you like this and that? Yada yada. Why didn't you say this and that?" I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure that was Andy Harder. Like, no, it was you. And just so you know, I never fucked you either. You're such a this. Like, I'm pretty sure you're talking about it.
Andy Harder would take that as a compliment.
He would, and he would have laid into her too.
He's good at like those interactions, no doubt.
I waited until I was on the mic and then I chastised her for 5 minutes. It was really fun. It's like it was Andy Harder, Ashley.
There's a lot.
Her name's Ashley.
A lot of Andy Harder talk in this episode. Huh?
He's getting there too. He's finally.
He's doing some good stuff. He did some of that Ha Ha Tuesday.
He had his headlining at Hot Hot Tuesday. I was a guest that night. I absolutely crushed it, and I've not heard back from Bo Blast for another good opportunity. So I'm gonna reach out to him.
Just thinking, he's somebody who's been in this for a long time, and hopefully, you never know. Like, I mean, a lot of these people that we know, like Jason Fry, they've all been doing this a long time, and it just
Robbie Schrader.
Robbie Schrader's been doing, and it's just like you never know, and it's really about building relationships. I always feel, and even the hard thing is that you feel like you built a relationship, and people will need you if they need you.
You still have to kind of watch out for yourself though, because I did have a bad. I'm not going to say where it was, but I at one point I had a feature at the beginning of this month, and then I found out kind of like being broken up with when somebody breaks up with you and you don't find out until Facebook changed their status.
Yeah.
I kind of lost that feature to somebody and I was unaware of it. I still went and supported the show and all that, but at the same time, the next day after I found out that I'd kind of been demoted, I went and I checked with all my other features that are coming up.
We're talking about the wind bombs.
But
The wind bombs. The cyclone bombs. No,
This is comedy night.
comedy. We're talking about comedy.
well, you wouldn't be smart. Like you're laughing now. See,
You can be
At
serious.
9:15, everybody will be.
or your
What?
brother, or whatever the relationship got.
No,
No, but
we'll see.
She's a Polly.
after the demotion, like I messaged some of the other people that I had shows with. I'm like, hey, I just want to make sure we're good for this day.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, I have you on this month, not that month. I'm like, did I say that? I'm like, yeah, here's the email. Oh, I can't get you on there now. So like, it was just this cavalcade of like losing shows, and it was like heartbreaking. And then the third person I emailed was actually Brian from Laugh Tech. I was like, hey, some things happened. I just want to make sure we're still solid.
Oh yeah, you did a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we're still solid for the show we're involved in. He's like, yeah. It's like 3 lines up in this message thread. I'm like, yeah, I know. You would think that'd be easy for other people,
Yeah.
but he was really cool. It's really cool to do a show for Laugh Tech. I hope I get more with them. I got to do Brandon White was headlining that show last weekend. It was awesome. Really excited that I got to work with him. And I think I'm slowly getting there.
It's a grind, and if you have the time to invest in it.
I think I've got as much traction from the kids.
I have time to come to Whiskey Mile on Thursdays.
Oh, look at that, guys. It's almost an hour.
Oh, wow. We have talked for an hour.
Ladies, I can last now.
Yes. Well, just without a honey pack. Without the honey pack and the perk.
Sexually, I don't even know if I can figure out how to fucking get the hole in.
I don't even know.
That's how terrible that.
What's a honey pack look like? It's a honey hole. It's a honey.
Huh?
Would you like some honey? Oh yeah, my wife hates. I do Winnie the Pooh at home. My wife hates it. Would Would you like to suck on my penis?
Is that what you say?
I'd sure like it if you'd suck on.
I don't say that. I've never,
I,
in a joking way, not in a serious way. I've never said it in a serious way.
yeah.
Because if you try to say it's serious and she says no, then it's a real disappointment. But if she says no and you're like, I was just joking, I would never ask for it.
I would never ask for it. What would you?
And just, let's be honest. It's not even the act itself. It's the effort. The fact that you're willing to do it. That's what matters.
Wow.
Because you're probably not good at it. So
I get a lot of back massages, so that's almost
they needed that joke.
a lot of
I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I-
Well,
That's old jokes.
Where are we at? Where are we at?
we're about an hour.
Where are
We got a few minutes before this mic starts up.
What do we want to?
So 6 months, you're going to be featuring. You're going to be doing some more stuff. How about you?
Headline
In
in
6
6 months
months?
here and there. But that's a stretch.
You know, I don't think much is gonna. I mean, I would love for something to happen, but I don't think right now in my life I invest enough in performing regularly. I think I'm more. I mean, I'm focused on like working, surviving, and being a good dad. That is like bottom line what I'm trying to do, and I gain a lot of just insight and perspective on everything day to day. And I'll tell you, this is what my son said to me. He's 8. This was a few months ago. He said, "Dad, you're not doing as much comedy as you used to." And he said, "Why?" I said, "Well, I need to focus on your sister." And he said, "You should do more of it." And I said, "Thanks." And I said, "Why are you being so supportive, son?" He said, "Because when you do comedy, you're happy." So
Oh, yeah.
he checks in with me, and I take that as a little kid who has insight into something. I've always been impressed with my little boy's like awareness of like you gotta focus on what makes you feel good. So I still keep doing this, and I look for little opportunities to be in sketches or whatever. And I want to do more. And, I appreciate you being willing to be comfortable with me as I've emailed you. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Thank you for allowing me to
Oh, yeah.
have the space to work out whatever is funny or not funny. in my life.
Well, I don't want a podcast where all we do is just talk shit. I mean, it's fun to sometimes do it, but I am interested in people and what, I want to be a better comic too. So like, not only like their material, but like what kind of person are they? What kind of what do they think? How do they write? That kind of stuff. I love that stuff. I also like like to be supportive of other people. I mean, it's I just not like, even though comedy is like a lone thing, like I still like to be in a spot where I have friends there. Like I'm on a show with my friends, or my friends are in the audience or something. It's not, so it's kind of, sometimes I've been in a couple rooms where I don't know anybody. I might know one person, and I go to that one person because I don't want to be by myself. So, but yeah, man, I mean, in the next 6 months for me, I want to be, I have an idea for, I'm trying to put together a venue to produce a show.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to somebody, and it's not going to be here, and I don't know when it's going to happen. But
My dog was wondering when you guys wanted to come in and start the open mic.
is it 9:15 yet?
Almost.
All right.
Okay. Well, hey. I
I
hope I'm interested in seeing what you produce and
Yeah.
create, because that's clearly a calling.
Yeah. Well,
So
the open mic was kind of step one, but I want to do some shows, get some people paid in front of some new audiences, and
it's good.
that'll be my next thing.
You build it.
Yeah.
People might show up.
People might take Viagra and honey packs.
Someday we'll come.
Email us.
Yeah, that's it. Hey,
Uh,
let's do like a little.
Yes.
Hey, we're trying to live our lives.
Follow Bruce at Bruce Detore
Bruce
on
Detore
Instagram and YouTube.
Facebook. You can find me at Bruce Detore Comedy. If you are not a friend, do not follow my personal page. I'll never answer.
And you got gigs coming up. Anything big coming up?
The next thing I got coming up, the next big thing I got coming up,
Hey, Jason.
One, I'm going to be hosting at the Local
Right.
97 in Renton on Monday the 10th
Right.
of March. So come on out to that. We have a really good time, and I like to think I'm a pretty goddamn good host. I don't know if anybody else does. We'll find out eventually. They did ask me back. And then on the 14th in Bremerton at Dog Days, we're going to be doing a Cozy Nostra.
Bremerton.
Yeah. A Cozy Nostra. It's going to be kind of a mobster themed thing where I'm going to get a little bit more into my
Oh,
Italian
yeah.
side. You know what
Tony
I'm talking about?
Cardoza's on that,
Yeah,
right?
Tony
Yeah.
Cardoza. He's got
And,
a name with me, but this
man,
man, I'll tell you what.
What's his name?
Joe Crudo and Brock Toronto.
Brock. Yes.
So it's going to be my
It's like that guy. That guy. You know.
Joseph Rogers, Comedy and Kitsap, is going to be hosting for us. He generally runs that room, and so we're lucky to have him get us involved. I'm going to be opening. Then believe it is then Joe Crudo, then Tony Cardoza is going to be featuring, and then Brock Toronto is going to be your headline.
Awesome.
So that's looking to be a cool show. We're also looking to possibly take that to other venues. So hopefully we can
Maybe
figure
this
it out.
venue I'm putting together.
They say Tony might be moving to LA towards the end of the year. I think he
Good
got,
riddance.
I think he got a job offer, so I'm looking to take up pretty much any of his spots.
Yes.
But no, hopefully it'll be a fun show. I'm gonna try to keep it all Italian, like all Italian comedy, some jokes that I don't usually pull out.
Hey.
And we'll see how it goes.
Jokes.
I'm just saying, you know, like. And I got another impression I'm gonna be doing of this show. You mind? You might want to come out and
Yes.
see. It's not this one. Quick impression. Bald De Niro.
Close your eyes.
All right, man. Noah DinoDad Comedy on Instagram. And
The Shanghai room.
Shanghai Room Comedy, Seattle Grunge Comedy.
I
We also co-manage the Seattle Comedy Podcast page.
Sure. Yeah, I just
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Shanghai Room.
Yes.
And Noah's going to be doing a feature tonight. And we're all working on new shit. Trying to get better.
News.
Come out to the Whiskey Mile. This place is like turning into one hell of a show. Support Sam's mic.
It's
Charlie pours the
Costco
drink.
brand comedy in Kirkland.
Yeah,
Hey.
it's Kirkland comedy. You get more for your dollar with Whiskey Mile.
I don't think there's a better way to end it.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, guys. All right, let's get this
He's
shit
a
ready.
force to be reckoned.
Just turn to
Comedy Simp, the podcast you can't resist. Stephen Michael James, the host you won't wanna miss. From Seattle to the world, his humor will persist. Join the fun, get ready to enlist. Spitting fire.